Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 8th Feb. The news items that we have picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 16. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, talks to end Manipur bloc fail. So these were the tripartite talks which were taking place among central government, Manipur state government, which is Congress ruled, and United Naga Council, the group representing Nagas in Manipur who have been blocking the national highway passing through Manipur. That is the lifeline of Manipur, because of which essential commodities in Manipur have become scarce and their prices have risen. This in addition to demonetization, and this blockade has been there before demonetization. It started on 1st November. And the reason for this blockade, we have discussed it quite often, was the formation of 7 new districts which the Manipur state government proposed and the United Naga Council opposed because of the bifurcation of Naga population in this creation of new districts. So now the tripartite talks which were seen, so there was some concession to be made by the state government that 7 new districts created, they would modify it, which they were earlier very adamant that they would not, and United Naga Council would end this economic blockade, the blockade on the highway. But then now it is seen that after 3 months plus of the economic blockade too, no solution is coming forth. The two discussions which took place, the tripartite talks took place first in New Delhi and now they have taken place in Imphal, the capital of Manipur, but then it has failed. So talks presently have failed, but still they are trying to revive. Earlier it was said that Manipur government was adamant. Now it is said since Manipur government is making concessions, now UNC is adamant. So we'll wait and watch. If some solution comes forth, it will be in news and that will be good news for all of us. The next news item is Justice Karnan faces contempt action today. So this is Justice C.S. Karnan. So he is presently Kolkata High Court judge. Earlier he was Tamil Nadu Madras High Court judge, and at that time also there was a session. He has made statements against judges of the Supreme Court and even the Chief Justice of the High Courts, and because of which contempt proceeding will initiate against him. And that was what the news is, that Supreme Court is starting suo moto. Suo moto means taking cognizance on its own, means nobody has complained. On its own, Supreme Court is initiating contempt action against this sitting Kolkata High Court judge. So there was a case which was initiated on his transfer. So he was transferred from Madras High Court to Kolkata High Court. So in this case, which was initiated in Madras High Court, means somebody on his behalf only, you can say, filed a petition against this transfer of himself from Madras to Kolkata. And on this case, he himself sat and himself gave a judgment that this transfer is cancelled. So transfers, remember, High Court judges appointment, transfers, Supreme Court judges appointment, all is done by the collegium. So collegium decides this. So this is how he acted, and again he has made various offensive statements and his behavior has been offensive. Even he is using caste, so he is belonging to SC, and he has even approached the National Commission for Scheduled Castes and is threatening to file criminal charges against judges, even the Chief Justice of Kolkata High Court, on the basis of this provisions of the Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act. So such has been his behavior so far, and presently Supreme Court is going to hear a contempt proceeding against him. So this will be the first time in the history of the judiciary post independence, in this recent history, that such an initiative will be taken. So that is about this. The next news item is Kaveri Pact of 1892 and unequal bargain. So this is the pact. 1892 means British colonial times pact between the Mysore and Madras government. So remember, Madras was the presidency, British India province, and Mysore was a princely state. So an agreement was finalized between the two. So of course this agreement is in favor of Madras government. So Madras government presently is Tamil Nadu, and Mysore presidency presently majorly represents Karnataka. So presently this is the conflict on Kaveri. So Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal, we have been discussing it in news quite often. It has been in news for long now. So Kaveri Water Dispute is between these two states, and Kaveri, you should remember, flows from Karnataka then to Tamil Nadu. So Karnataka is actually the upper riparian state. But if you look at the water sharing, the major share goes to Tamil Nadu. So the reason for this being that historically there has been a bias in favor of Tamil Nadu, and because of this, dams developed there and the farms developed, fields developed there based on the irrigation and the water from Kaveri. This has been the historical scenario. So it continues till now. So Tamil Nadu majorly needs water, otherwise its farmers suffer. So that is why even the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal has given the majority share to it, and Karnataka presently we were seeing was refusing to release the water to Tamil Nadu because it is an upper riparian state. If it blocks, if it does not allow sufficient water to flow, then Tamil Nadu will feel the shortage. So that was there, and the Supreme Court has consistently been asking Karnataka that it has to release the water around 2000 cusecs per day, and all has been the judgments coming from, orders coming from the Supreme Court regularly. So on this case, even Supreme Court had said that we'll have day-to-day hearings on Kaveri water dispute. So that has been started, and presently it has been argued that this 1892 agreement was an unequal bargain, means it was in favor of Madras and not in favor of Mysore. It was not an equal bargain, both were not equally benefited. So this is the argument put forth. Mysore says this, but Madras government says no, it was 2 years of negotiation after this agreement came forth, so there should be consideration given, and by both sides you can't say that it was an unequal bargain. So that is the arguments which are going on presently before the Supreme Court, and it will continue. So this is the present scenario. So it says 1892 agreement, based on which even the 1924 pact which was finalized was based on the same agreement. So this was in favor of Madras presidency, and it was dictating terms to Mysore, because of which Mysore, means present day Karnataka, could not develop irrigation infrastructure on the river, right, without previous consent of the Madras government. So such arguments are being put forth. So further hearing would take place. We'll hear more about this too. So this is Kaveri Basin. You can see this is the Karnataka state, the border here, and this down is Tamil Nadu state. So you can see the various reservoirs here, and the reservoirs, because in lean season when monsoons are not good, then this dispute arises majorly. So this has been the case as such, is showing you the 10-year average, how much water has been there, water levels, reservoir levels, and then this is 2015 figure, and this is 2016 present figure. So you can see how much percentage of the reservoir is filled with water. So it has been going low majorly, you can see here. So that is why the dispute has been continuing presently too, because of this deficit. So you can see the entire timeline is also given. This is the 1892 agreement, after which 1924 agreement came forth, and then in 1970 Karnataka, accused of violating these two agreements, a tribunal was demanded by Tamil Nadu, a tribunal being set up to. The Supreme Court had to pass a writ petition based on the tribunal awards. You can see the tribunal was set up under the Water Disputes Tribunal Act of 1956, but then the tribunal was not successful to satisfy them. A writ petition was filed in the Supreme Court. Even this, so in this direction was given that the tribunal award should be notified. Then in 1990, interim award was given in 1991, and then finally that could not succeed. Again, monsoons, when they were bad monsoons, you can see 1995, 2002 were poor monsoon years. So that is why again the conflict arose, and Karnataka was not able to comply with the tribunal's award, because in lean season further releasing the amount of water mandated by the tribunal award becomes difficult. So there should be a permanent commission. So that's what the central government is also presently trying to do, that it will have a permanent central water commission. So that is there. And 2016 present award. So this tribunal, 9 years after the tribunal's final award, the states are still in court fighting on the same dispute. So dispute, the Supreme Court also made a statement that Kaveri river is perennial river, but the dispute should not be perennial. Perennial means flowing all the time. So Kaveri dispute is also continuing as such, and there is no solution coming forth. The next news item is can't lay down norms on how people should react to jokes. So this is a petition filed in the Supreme Court asking it to give moral guidelines. So this moral guidelines on what? Because the petitioner says that the Sikh community is being stereotyped and there are jokes cracked on them on the social media, in schools and colleges. So this has an adverse impact on the community. So based on this, a petition has been filed that guidelines should be given by the Supreme Court, norms should be put forth before the Supreme Court on this. And Supreme Court has said that they are helpless. There cannot be any way in which we can decide how people should react to jokes. So that has been the Supreme Court stand. The petitioner further argues that the way scheduled castes and scheduled tribes have a vigorous law, a strict law, which is protecting them from any insult. Similarly, why not Sikh community be protected too? So this is a point being raised. So on this, the Supreme Court says that that is through a legislation which Parliament has made, Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act, which we just saw in that judge's case also. So a law can be made. That law making is the domain of the legislature. We cannot do anything about it. We cannot issue guidelines. The next news item is Citizens Forum to take up whistleblowers' complaint. So Whistleblowers Protection Act of 2011 has been passed by the government. The parliament has passed it. The president has given his assent, but the government has not notified it. So as long as the provisions of the act are not notified, it cannot be put into effect. So this delay on the part of the government in notifying this act has made the civil society rise together and take initiatives on this matter. First of all, you should know who is a whistleblower. So whistleblower is a person who brings out any wrongdoings in the organization in which he is working. And this Whistleblowers Protection Act is for government organizations. So any wrongdoing which is happening within the organization is brought out in the open. So he is blowing the whistle that something wrong is happening. So he comes out in the open to the media, up in public. So in such cases, and what is required is this whistleblower should be protected. So protection should be ensured to them. So that is why this act was passed. But since it has not yet been notified, a citizen whistleblowers forum has been formed by major prominent personalities. So these founding members are retired judge AP Shah. Then there is advocate Prashant Bhushan, even former chief information commissioner. This is the Central Information Commission under the RTI Act. So he was a chief information commissioner earlier. So he is Wajahat Habibullah. Then social activist Aruna Roy. So all these prominent personalities have come together and they have formed this Citizens Whistleblowers Forum. So here they would take up matters. Whatever, if there's any whistleblower who puts in faith in them and comes out in the open, they would ensure that his case is taken forward to the authorities concerned, so they can initiate a public interest litigation in the courts on his behalf. They help in making the case public. So the case will be brought out in the open through them. So this is reaching out to the whistleblowers. Even the identity of the whistleblower can be protected if needed. So all such measures will be taken. So this is the new initiative which has been taken by the civil society. So you can see the Whistleblowers Protection Act. What does it provide for? It provides a mechanism to investigate alleged corruption and misuse of power by public servants, means by government, and also protect anyone who exposes alleged wrongdoing in government bodies, projects and offices. This is the objective of the Whistleblowers Protection Act. So whistleblower is a term given to any person who exposes corruption. So this can be allegation against a public servant or a minister also. And there is a provision for jail term and fine for false or frivolous complaints. False complaint means the complaint which has been made is wrong, and frivolous complaint means complaint which is not of any significance, just wasting time of the authorities. So such false or frivolous complaints will be fined, and the person would be fined, and there will be a jail term for them too. So of course this provision on the other hand is discouraging people from whistleblowing. So there are of course criticisms to the act too. Anyway, the next news item is Nirbhaya fund lies unused, Apex Court told. So this is the Nirbhaya fund which we discussed in budget also on 2nd of Feb. So in this Nirbhaya fund, provisions have been made to provide for women's safety in New Delhi. But then this senior advocate and amicus curiae. So amicus curiae means friend of the court. So this is the term used. So this Indira Jaising, she has said that Nirbhaya fund is lying unused. There's crores of rupees allocated even presently in present budget. We saw that 9-fold increase has taken into Nirbhaya fund. But this has been remaining unused. This was established in 2013 after the gang rape in December 2012 in of a 23-year-old girl who was named by the media as Nirbhaya. So post this in 2013, this fund was initiated. So allocations have been made, but expenditure as such, proposals have been given. So recommendations for proposals have been given, but no allocation expenditure has taken place from this fund. So this shows the lacunae in implementation of proposals also. So this is the counsel for the center. He was refuting the claims that allocation has not been made. He's saying that 16 proposals have been recommended. So that is just at the recommendation stage. Where is the implementation? Since 2013 is 2017 now. Then the next news item is Supreme Court dismisses Tamil Nadu's review plea on remission power. So you hear in the constitution about the pardoning powers. So pardoning powers of the president are also there. That is, at the central government has the powers, and state government, that is pardoning powers of the governor. Now the thing is that it's not just the pardoning. Pardoning means completely free. You're free of charge. You are released free. So that is complete pardon. So apart from pardon, there are other terms used too. So one of them is remission. So remitting a sentence means reducing the term as such. So if it's 10 years jail term, you reduce it to 5 years or so. So that is called remitting. Commutation of a sentence. Commutation of a sentence means that if it's rigorous imprisonment, you make it simple imprisonment. So making it into a lighter sentence. Respite given, that is also the reprieve given. So reprieve is temporary respite given, that you are allowed to, delay the sentence implementation as such. So that these provisions are there. So these powers are there with the central government and the state government, that is constitutionally president and the governor respectively for respective laws. If it's a central law, center will have the powers, state law, state will have the powers. Now what had happened was that this was the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. So there were 7 convicts in Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, and they were sentenced to life sentence. So these 7 persons who were sentenced were convicted under central law. They were investigated by the CBI and given life sentence. So what Tamil Nadu government wanted to do now was remit their sentences. So this remission means reducing the term of their sentence was the initiative taken by Tamil Nadu government. So this was challenged in the Supreme Court, and the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court in 2015 stated that state government has no suo motu power to remit sentences of persons who are convicted under central law. It can be done only with the permission of the central government. So you can understand this scenario too. So this was a time when even UPA government was in power. So Rajiv Gandhi, the husband of Sonia Gandhi, and Tamil Nadu, the state government. So this assassination happened because of frustration of LTT, which wanted to take revenge on Rajiv Gandhi for getting involved in LTT issue in Sri Lanka. So LTT, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam, you should know, were representing Tamils. So Tamil Nadu has some soft corner for this LTT too. So that is the reason why Tamil Nadu government, it is state politics also, you can say, that they are favoring the convicts. So that is why they wanted to remit the sentences, and when this initiative was taken and challenged, they were not allowed to do it. It was invalidated. So now a review petition has been filed by the Tamil Nadu government in Supreme Court, but Supreme Court has dismissed this review petition, upholding this constitutional bench judgment of the Supreme Court in 2015. So this is the present case. Then the next news item is India to frame policy on synthetic biology. So we are going to frame a policy on synthetic biology. So what is this synthetic biology? It's an emerging science through which new life forms can potentially be made in labs. And even existing life forms also, such as bacteria or other microbes, they can be tweaked to produce specific proteins or chemically useful products. So this is called synthetic biology. The most famous example of this is artemisinin. So this artemisinin is a powerful anti-malarial drug. So it is produced in yeast, and it is produced at a commercial scale, like that. Then there are microorganisms too, which are used as sensors to detect toxins. So these are also synthetic biology, that the microorganisms are used for specific purpose. Then in December 2016, now why are we making this new policy on synthetic biology? Because in December 2016, at the Convention on Biological Diversity, which took place in Cancun in Mexico, Around 8,000 delegates from 180 countries attended it, including India, and there was discussion on synthetic biology, and India has no policy on synthetic biology. So that is why it was required that and India has promised that it will put in place a synthetic biology team to articulate India's views on the matter in the forthcoming meeting. So that is why we are taking initiatives on this matter now. So synthetic biology, you can see this designing and building novel biological systems. So this is the idea. You can see here synthetic biology. So it is done in lab. So you can see the design and fabrication of biological components and systems that do not already exist in the natural world. So that is done. Redesigning, fabrication of, like, examples are also given. Synthetic life, that is life created in vitro, means outside the womb. So in vitro fertilization, as we see also, that is in labs. So synthetic life. Then cell transformations, so transformation of living cells, new DNA inserted into them. So that is also synthetic biology. Synthetic genetics, so genetic understanding, that is also there. So one best known application is given, that is engineering of E. coli and yeast for commercial production for artemisinin. So this we just discussed. So this is there. So there are various examples, industrial enzymes produced. So they are synthetic biology. So this you can see, like using enzymes from fireflies. So scientists have created modified plants that glow in the dark. So this enzymes being used here. Anti-malarial drug, which we just discussed, artemisinin. So this is the most famous example. Vanilla, which is made from yeast. So this is artificial vanilla, synthetic vanilla, not the plant grown. So this is grown from modified yeast. So this is less expensive from pure vanilla too, and tastes better, it says. So this is synthetic vanilla. So such initiatives have been taken. So for developing synthetic components, that is called synthetic biology. This is regarding Convention on Biological Diversity. So it was the convention adopted by the governments all across the world in the 1992 Earth Summit, Rio Earth Summit in Brazil. So in this, the Convention on Biological Diversity has three main goals: conservation of biological diversity, sustainable use of its components, and fair and equitable sharing of the benefits from the use of genetic resources. So Convention of Biological Diversity has a major say on this synthetic biology too, that how biological diversity will be ensured, conserved, how sustainable use would take place, and equitable sharing of benefits of genetic resources. So of course, it has to formulate its policy too. So it was taking viewpoints from various countries, and Indian government needs to clearly state out its viewpoints on this matter. That is why now India is taking initiatives and building up a policy on synthetic biology. The next news item is MEA cuts grants for think tank on China. So this is Institute of Chinese Studies. This is the only think tank on Chinese studies, which is also partnering with the US based universities like Harvard University and MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So this think tank has been funded by the government, but in this present budget, its complete funding, which it was receiving since 2010, funding has completely cut. It has been put into the basis of project by project approval. So it will have to adjust, and every project approved by MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, under which it functions, will be allowed to function. So some people say that this has taken place because this is an independent platform, and on various China related issues like even OBOR, One Belt One Road initiative, it has disapproved the government's position. That government is against OBOR, but this body has been favoring that OBOR should be taken advantage of rather than opposing it. We have already discussed OBOR in detail, so I will not discuss again here. You can look at previous videos too. Then the next news item is uncertainty over US nuclear plans for India. So this is because Toshiba is actually a Japanese company. So this has planned to withdraw from building nuclear plants in UK and India. So now Toshiba is a company in Japan, but it has acquired Westinghouse. So this is a US based company which it has acquired in 2006. So this Westinghouse specializes in nuclear reactors, developing nuclear reactors. So even India, US is under negotiation to develop 6 AP1000 nuclear reactors, which are Westinghouse nuclear reactors. So this has been going on negotiation since 2005. There have been various hindrances. So post the India-US nuclear deal, we have not finalized any agreement as such on nuclear reactors been, you know, transaction taking place, sale purchase taking place. So such development has still not taken place. There were various hindrances in the matter. NSG approval required and all that was also there, plus the nuclear liability law which India passed, which USA did not approve of, that there would be liability on these companies which are providing nuclear reactors. So there were hurdles, and presently it has been realized that now Toshiba is saying that it will not build any nuclear plants in UK and India. So this is a setback. What would happen to this negotiation too is now unknown. So there is uncertainty over this issue now. Then the next news item is US changes laws for easy transfer of arms to India. So this we have discussed in news. India has been given the status of major defense partner by USA. So this means that every proposal, export related laws, every proposal for export of military equipments, it would be looked at with a presumption of approval. Otherwise, it is looked at with a presumption of denial. That presumably you have to deny it only. Even if only if it is a special case, then it may be approved. So because now India has been declared a major defense partner, our status also shifts. Every proposal which comes forth, it would be looked at with presumption of approval, and in only minor cases it may be denied the license. So this will require US to make changes in its law. So this has been done now. US changes law, and this is export control law which has been changed. So this provision has been made for. So Indian firms, whatever import they are seeking from the Commerce Department in USA on controlled military items will be looked at with presumption of approval, except weapons of mass destruction related goods. So this is the status right now. Then the next news item is China to the rescue of Pakistan again. So this is again the same case, Maulana Masood Azhar. So China is obsessed with him, it seems, but it's actually Pakistan which is making China do this. It's clear China has no interest in safeguarding Masood Azhar, except that he is safeguarded by Pakistan. So he's been put under house arrest too presently, but then that is not sufficient. The UN Security Council, a resolution has been initiated to declare Maulana Masood Azhar as a terrorist. So this initiative was put on a technical hold by China. So in UN Security Council, there are 15 members, out of which 5 are permanent members. These are called P5. China, USA, Russia, France and UK. So these 5 countries, any one of them, if they say no, even if the remaining 14, means 10 are non-permanent members, every 2 years they are elected. So these, even all 14 say yes, but one of the veto member country says no, then that provision cannot be implemented. So that is vetoed, rejected. So this China has been putting a technical hold on this proposal to declare him as a terrorist for long now. So earlier it had put a 6-month technical hold, then now it had put a 3-month technical hold after that, and finally in December 2016 even it had finally rejected it too. So after this a new proposal has been initiated to again declare Maulana Masood Azhar as a terrorist, and this has been jointly proposed by US, UK and France. So again what would happen on this matter is still unknown. So this technical hold which China is putting on this proposal too is again showing that it is still favoring Pakistan. So even this UN Security Council meeting which will take place on Al-Qaeda, Taliban and IAS Sanctions Committee. So they say we work on principle of unanimity and anonymity. So unanimity means coming all together. Anonymity means not known what is the viewpoint of who. So this is a provision which they are highlighting now and trying to put forth. So they say that even if a single member opposes, then it is a veto and deliberations will not take place and voting will remain a secret. Means who vetoed it will not be known. So this is what they are saying now. So India is criticizing this as a hidden veto. Means it will not be known in the open to that which among the P5 members vetoed it or how many of them vetoed it. So this is what the world powers are going ahead with presently on terrorism. So this is terrorism related. Even Jaish-e-Mohammed, which is the body terrorist organization which Maulana Masood Azhar heads, Jaish-e-Mohammed has already been declared a terrorist organization and he is the leader of this terrorist organization. Then what can be the difficulty in declaring him as a terrorist is the question which India consistently asks. And earlier China had put this point out that since Pakistan is mentioned in the proposal, that is why we are putting a technical hold on it. Now in this new proposal, Pakistan has not been mentioned, but yet we see China put a technical hold on this proposal too. Also, Maulana Masood Azhar is the same person who had been released by India in the exchange for the hostages which were taken in the Kandahar case, IC 814, the hijack which took place. In this, he was handed over. So you can see this was a 1999 case. So after this, he has been in Pakistan, and Pakistan is not ready to hand him over as he is accused. And also presently the government has accused him even in the Pathankot Airways attack. So in that case also he is an accused of Jan 2016, but no developments yet, and again China putting a technical hold. The next news item is Center allows Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana deposits in parts. So this was the Yojana announced by the government at the time of demonetization, in which if a person is voluntarily disclosing his unaccounted income, he'll have to pay 50% tax at this rate and park 25% of this amount in a 4-year interest-free deposit. So this will be used for Garib Kalyan. So that was the provision. So this, in this, it was earlier said that only one time it can be used, that deposits can be made. So presently now center has said that deposits in parts can also be made. Means after once you have deposited, another deposit can also be made. So this is the leeway presently given. That is why it is in news. This is regarding that. So the immunity is given, means you shall not be taxable under Income Tax Act further for that, and also immune from all other proceedings except that you are, if there's a criminal offense with which you have conducted, because of which you have earned this money, on that there is no immunity. This is there. Then the next news item is Japan eases permanent visa norms to draw global talent. So we are seeing that USA is putting restrictions, even H-1B visa provisions are being made stringent now. So now Japan is opening up. So Japan, you should remember, is also a country which is aging. So the aging population which it has, and there is not enough birth rate. So again, Japan is a populous nation, but it wants to bring in the brains. So high technical jobs, highly skilled workforce is welcome in Japan, and that is why it has made modifications to its green card program too, and says new provisions have been added to highly skilled foreign professionals. Green card permanent residency would be given expeditiously. They're showing even within a year they would be made, all the provisions would be made for them. Even visa curves which are there will be removed. Protectionist measures which are there, so they will also be diluted. So Japan is attracting now global talent. So this, even in India, it says that India-Japan relations to the deficit which is there in investment. Japan has invested a lot in various infrastructure programs. Japan has made investments, but then Indian contribution to Japan has not been to that extent. So now it is demanding that if IT and IT enabled companies want to establish themselves in Japan, they are welcome. We'll make all the provisions for them. So this is what it is calling. It is looking for investments from Indian companies in IT enabled services, pharmaceuticals, and even tourism. Also, it is saying that the language barrier which is there for foreigners in Japan, so there will be provisions made that the language, the laws which are there, Japanese laws, they will be translated into various languages too, so that foreigners would be facilitated. Also, corporate tax rate, it says, will be reduced. So these provisions have also been put forth so that foreign talent is attracted. Then the next news item is charting the fascinating path that robots have taken over the years. So this is a robo exhibition which would take place in UK. So this robo thespian, which is a human-like robo, which is on display in London Science Museum. So this robo is known to be a charismatic speaker. So he speaks with animated intonation like a confident orator. His digital eyes can focus and look around in a human way. So this will be taking people through this robo exhibition. So these robots in display are from mechanical robots from the earliest robo known. Like this was a 1560 automaton monk. So this was an automated piece, a automaton monk, which could pray, walk across the table, move its lips, raise its crucifix. So such automatons have been made so early too. But the term robo, this was coined in the 20th century. So this was coined from the Czech Republic word, robota, which actually means forced labor. And this was used by the author from Czech Republic in 1920 in his play on artificial humans, universal robots. So this was Karel Capek. So from there the word comes, robo. So from then we have traversed a long way. Maria was another robot which is highlighted. This was in 1927, which was used in a movie. Then even Eric is one of the earliest made robots in UK, which is also be on display. Then cybernetic tortoise, who can find his own way. That is robotics, initial robotics. This was 1950s robotics. So presently what we are looking at are humanoid robots, which look like humans. They are not like machines, but they look like humans too. So Lucy is a British robot again with 50,000 artificial neurons. So they can learn. So it can learn. It has been asked, has learned how to distinguish between bananas and apples. So these initiatives have been taken. iCub is another Italian robot. So this can mimic toddlers, how they learn and discover the world around them. So robots imitating humans, understanding the senses, learning is what we are looking at. Artificial intelligence is where we are moving ahead now. So this robotics exhibition is there. This is the orator robo thespian. Then another statement which has been made, this is very interesting. This director of engineering arts, a British company, he says that in robotics, software, if you look at it, how to enhance the software application, that is not a challenge. Your software can be done. Means artificial intelligence and all those aspects can be handled easily. What is more challenging is making it more human like. So that mechanical aspect is more difficult. How to replicate the muscle movement, the body movement, the various body parts, the creation, the human body a creation, replicating that mechanically is the biggest challenge rather than the software. So that is an interesting point. Then the next news item, the second last one, the last one is contraceptive injection for men passes test on a monkey. So this is a contraceptive injection which has been made for males. So this is called Vassal gel. So this is a gel which is able to block the sperm so that pregnancy does not take place. That is contraception, that having something through which pregnancy would not take place. So generally contraception, we see that tubectomy, which is conducted on females, is most prominent form of contraception. On males, vasectomy is conducted, but then that is permanent. So vasectomy, tubectomy are generally permanent, but then there are other ways too in which pregnancy can be avoided, and this male contraceptive has been developed, Vassal gel. So this is a birth control initiative which has been tested presently on rhesus monkeys. So this is by California Research Center in US, and now clinical trials would begin on humans also after it being successful in the animal. So this is in news. So that is it. These are the news items. Thank you.